and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Just literally back from Dublin, back home, and how to get the show out as quickly as I can. Lots of delays on our flight yet again, but made it back, and it was a great trip in Dublin. Really great to meet the fans over there, and also a really good game of football in which Arsenal won. I think it was 6-5 on penalties in the end. It was a good game. Really good test for Arsenal. Chelsea played a really strong team. Arsenal played a really strong team. And in the first half, Chelsea were all over us. I mean, Bellerin in particular got a very hard time from the Chelsea winger. I think his name was Hudson-Odoi. He looks a talent. I remember on the way over there, the Chelsea fans on the plane with me, they were telling me, watch out for this kid. And he had Bellerin on toast for a lot of that game. But a good comeback by Arsenal. Very good performance in the second half in particular. And Lacazette looked really, really sharp. And he got the equaliser right by the end. And it was a good game. Really good test. As I said, we don't get carried away with wins. You know, it's a win on penalties as well. It was really a draw. But listen, a good test for Arsenal yesterday. Now, will Mustafi still be at the club? There was a few people quite critical of his performance in the game yesterday. He had a bad season last year. When he first came to Arsenal, I thought Mustafi done really, really well. Now, what will be happening with Mustafi? He's been linked today with a move to Galatasaray. Galatasaray apparently offered to take him on loan, and that was turned down by Arsenal. Arsenal said, no, we're not willing to send Squadron Mustafi. We paid £35 million for, remember, out on loan. But however, there's lots of reports coming out of Turkey that Arsenal are willing to take £23 million for Mustafi, which would represent a loss of about £12 million. But they're willing to take that for Mustafi and sell him outright to Galatasaray. Now, really interested in this. If it is true, we don't know if it's true or not. If it is true, then that would mean that Arsenal would need to get another centre-back in to replace Mustafi, surely, because then you've got Callum Chambers, you've got Holding, Mavropanos, who's a very young kid who's just come in, and Socrates. Koscielny, who's out, we don't know when he's going to come back. If somebody of Mustafi's experience goes out, surely Arsenal would then need to bring a centre-back in. And also, 23 million, is that enough for Mustafi? We know that at the end of the transfer window last season, Arsenal were trying to sell Mustafi. It's sort of gone under the radar, but they were trying to move him out then. They didn't manage to get the right buyers for him, and they ended up keeping him for the season, and he didn't perform well. But is £23 million enough for Mustafi? And should we keep Mustafi anyway? Do you think that Unai Emery is going to turn Mustafi back into the player that he was when he first started off at Arsenal? Or do you just look at it and say, listen, he's just not good enough as a centre-back? I really like to hear from you guys. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this whole Mustafi situation. But Mustafi being linked again today with a move away, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that one with deadline day looming. The other player linked with a move away is Lucas Perez. Now, it was really interesting that he didn't go on the tour. Lucas Perez wasn't over there in Ireland, or he didn't play in Ireland, and that's the second game in a row now that he hasn't played in the friendlies. We heard the rumours that he's wanted by Lazio. Well, we're also being told today that Fiorentina, also over there in Italy, are really interested in him as well. The price for him is around about £7 million, and as I said, quite significant for me that he wasn't involved in any of the last two games. That seems to indicate that Arsenal are about to sell Lucas Perez. I know there's a lot of fans out there, and I was sort of arguing this with DT this morning, that who do you think should go? Should it be Welbeck? Should it be Perez? Surely they won't let both of them go, unless, again, they're looking to bring in a player in that position. Now, Perez has never really had a chance at Arsenal. I agree with that. You know, he's never really had a chance. But this is my personal opinion. When it boils down to who should we sell, if it was down to between him and Welbeck, I just think Welbeck playing out wide will probably offer more, and that he's a harder worker. He gets something down the pitch more, bit more of a winger than what Lucas Perez would be. And I just can't see Lucas Perez playing as a striker with the strikers that we've got now in Aubameyang and Lacazette. He's just not going to get a look in that position. So it does look like Lucas Perez is going to be on his way out of the Arsenal Football Club before deadline day. Will Aaron Ramsey also be following him? He didn't play in the game yesterday, and immediately there were a lot of fans in the ground saying, listen, that's it, he's gone. Ramsey's, he's not playing in this game, he's off. Well, Unai Emery clarifying that yesterday and saying that, listen, he picked up a slight injury just before the game and to his calf, and they just didn't want to risk him at all in the game. And Emery's comments as well was that Ramsey is with us. The contract is the question for the club and for the player. So still not cleared up. This whole contract situation with Aaron Ramsey, I made clear what I think yesterday. I just feel that, if we get into like next week, Monday, say, and nothing's moved on it, I think we seriously have to consider selling Aaron Ramsey and bringing in a replacement, because we just cannot have these contract situations again looming over Arsenal's head. But at the moment, it looks like Emery's still thinking that Ramsey's going to stay, but we wait and see on this one. Steven Nzonzi. He was asked about that Unai Emery yesterday, about Steven Nzonzi after the game. Emery's quotes were, I'm telling you, and we are saying internally that we are okay. So that's on the situation of buying players, and only want positives when we take the option to sign, but not especially for Nzonzi. So again, not very clear there on what this Steven Nzonzi situation is. It does look like Arsenal are interested in Nzonzi, but again, we're not going to get a clearer picture with what happens in this one until we start getting down to deadline day, until we start finding out what's going to be happening with Aaron Ramsey. So again, another one we're going to have to keep our eye on. And what about Welbeck? Because I've just brought his name up. What's happening with Danny Welbeck? He still hasn't come back. There's lots of rumours that he's not going to be coming back to Arsenal until about the first week into the season, which I don't understand because he hardly played for England in the World Cup. I know he would have been training and stuff like that. But I don't understand the length of the delay. And his contract as well, remember, into the last year of his contract. Are Arsenal going to give him a new contract, or are Arsenal going to move him on as well? And as I said, if they move on Perez and move on Welbeck, surely they've got to bring in a replacement. We're going to be really interesting to see what happens with this one over the next week as well. Will Welbeck stay at Arsenal, or will they move him on? As I said, I feel the advantage that he has over Lucas Perez is that he can play out wide on either of the wings, whereas Perez can play out wide, but he's not as effective there, very left-footed. Going to be interesting to see what happens with the Danny Welbeck situation. Everton been linked with him beforehand, so let's see how that one goes. Let's get into some of your comments. Ben says, stop penny pinching, Gazidis, and sign Dembele. Can't argue with that. Rambo96 says, Welbeck plays 5 minutes in the World Cup and isn't even back yet. Torreira is already back. Kind of the point I'm making. I mean, listen, remember, England did get to the semi-finals, whereas Uruguay were knocked out earlier. But, excuse me, Torreira played a lot more minutes than Welbeck. I think it is that even though he didn't play a lot, he would still have had to been training and doing all the sort of training and everything and preparations, readying himself to play. So you're still, putting a lot of work in, although you haven't done the 90 minutes on the pitch. And maybe, as DT was suggesting to me this morning, maybe Welbeck himself should be saying, I'm coming back early to come and play at Arsenal, to fight for my place, etc. But let's wait and see how that one develops, as I said earlier. Rain95 said, Ramsey should just F off. I've had enough of this. Who does he think he is? Really hope he doesn't get the captaincy. He doesn't deserve it. So a few fans, I noticed a few fans starting to turn on Ramsey a bit over this contract situation. It really needs to be cleared up quick. And KB101 IST says, am I the only one that doesn't care about Ramsey signing anything? Right? And there are a few people there that are saying just move Ramsey on and bring somebody else in. I still think we should be trying to hold on to a player like this to get the adequate replacement. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to do that now. And I don't know if we could afford to bring in someone of the same sort of quality as Aaron Ramsey, even if we ship him out for about £30 million. But really would like to hear from you guys on it. Listen, thanks for watching the show today. Back in the UK today. The show will be coming from the UK tomorrow, and then we're heading off to Sweden tomorrow evening. Arsenal, of course, playing Lazio. Will that be the destination for Lucas Perez, or will it be Fiorentina? I think we're going to find out very, very soon over the next few days.